Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm bringing you another money making method for Gran Turismo 7 using a car I'd never actually really even took a second look at. I did not even really notice it was kind of another model of this car. I kind of thought it was a GT3 car, and then I looked back at it and I thought, oh yeah, that is a GT1 car. So it's a big thanks to Raymond Cromoton for this method and recommending it. It is probably some of the most fun I've had in Gran Turismo 7 in a long time. So if you want to buy this car, you can buy it for 800k from the Aston Martin dealership. It falls under the Group 3 category. Obviously it says it's a GT1 car. Obviously this is a different class of racing in kind of today's landscape of motorsport. But an awesome car nonetheless. As you can see, it has 750 performance points. Obviously we are going to upgrade it to hit the 800 mark for the Sardinia event. So not too bad of a price point. So this is a setup I went for. I went to start off on the racing mediums, but make sure you also have the racing hard tyres. They'll come into play as we go along. All of this you don't need to actually really touch. As you can see, all of that you don't need to touch, but then you want the downforce at the front at the max, and then at the rear you want it at the middle at 575. Make sure you buy the supercharger high-end torque, and then as you can see, the rest of it is all pretty straightforward. So the event you're going to want to do, I think we all know this by now, it is Europe, the Sardinia road track, and it's the 800 pp World Touring car. So I think we all know that, but you know, seems to be like an influx of new players to the game, so obviously I'm going to point that out whenever I make these guides which event we're doing, but for those that have been around for a while it's kind of obvious. So to start with, we're going to use our massive power advantage to kind of power through, keep the fuel mix at 1. So you're going to see I've got the AI on easy. This is just basically I'm grinding money, so I'm not overly bothered about having a challenge or anything. That is not the point of these videos. If I want to have a challenge, obviously I'll bump them up and I'll do it in custom races. So you're just going to kind of use that massive power advantage and work your way through the field. You're going to see we're going to pretty much eat them up, no problem. The only thing I can really recommend with this car, it is a little bit twitchy and it can be prone to spinning, so it does require a bit of short shifting and a bit of throttle control. But it's totally up to you how you want to run. Obviously if you want to run traction feel free, I would kind of maybe recommend it if you're not fully confident with this car or why you get used to it. But for myself, I kept the assists off. It just required me to kind of use a bit more throttle control. As you can see, the brakes are probably the only downside to this car. I found them a little bit kind of underpowered for the amount of power this thing has. Definitely not I guess a strong point for the car, but apart from that, and apart from it being a little bit twitchy, there's actually no downside to this car. It is insanely fast, especially in a straight line, which you'll see a little bit later, just how quickly this thing eats up any car in its way. So as you can see, just twitching a little bit as I'm starting to get used to. Obviously we're running on the mediums to start with, so they're going to wear off quite quick. But you're going to kind of see our strategy come into play later on. So also another thing to note is the car will actually drink quite a bit of fuel while in fuel mix 1. Don't worry about that too much for now. By lap 3, the beginning, we've overtook first place and we're pretty much never going to look back at this point really. Super simple, just go on past him. He's not going to catch you. So, end of lap 4, we are going to come in for our first pit stop. Obviously, we've ran at fuel mix 1 for the whole time. We're actually going to go into the hard tyres now. So this is where the strategy is a little bit different, and I kind of like to mix it up. I don't kind of enjoy going from, I say, like medium pit every 5 laps sort of thing. We're just going to go into the hard tyres, and we're going to fill the car to max fuel. So it's pretty straightforward. Just remember to just buy the hard tyres, I guess. Obviously I did kind of mention that at the start of the video, but make sure you've got the racing hards and the racing medium tyres. It will kind of come into play as we go through this video. When you come out the pits, just be very careful and be very mindful that the cars behind are a bit of a nightmare, and obviously drop your fuel mix to 6. So while I say is just be careful about the cars coming as you come out the pits, they are prone to just piling into you. The AI is a little bit dumb in this game. Hopefully we kind of get a updated AI system eventually, as the game gets a little bit older. So we're just going to work our way through the pack and basically regain our lead. These cars are on different strategies, so don't worry about them too much. The Dodge Viper, I believe, which was originally in the lead at the start of the race, actually pits in on the same lap that we did on the end of lap 4 onto lap 5. And pretty much straight away we're going to catch this Mercedes, which is now obviously inherited the lead of the race. It is going to pit in, I believe, at the end of this lap. But we're just going to kind of follow him down and just kind of breeze past him. Obviously a massive power advantage, like I said. This is the great thing about this car. It's just the insane speeds this thing hits. Like I said, a little bit twitchy, but once you get used to it, it's probably some of the most fun you can have, especially when it comes to grinding money. Sometimes the grind's a little bit boring. That's why I obviously make these money methods. Like I said, you recommend them, I will do them. And it's also great, you know, when I do find a method that I enjoy. As you can see, a bunch of the other cars pitting at this point, and you're pretty much never going to see them again until we are lapping them. So don't worry about them at this point. You've made your positions up and you're basically flying at this point. So we've kept it at fuel mix 6. We're on lap 9 now, and we're sort of getting into lap traffic. Just time it right. I know I pretty much say this every video, but you really do need to time it right. Getting stuck up behind them is actually an absolute nightmare. And as you can see, if they're battling like this, just be careful, because they will basically just act like you're not there. They're too kind of involved in their own battle to be worried about you lapping them. I do kind of hope they go back and, you know, redo the blue flag system to kind of make the cars move out of the way a little bit better. So as you can see, we've got only a little bit of fuel left. The other cars are pitting. You can either pit at the end of lap 11, or you can pit on this lap here, which is lap 12. Totally up to your choice. As you can see, I pushed it a little bit too hard and ran out right at the end of lap 12, kind of just rolled into the pits. At this point, we're going to take medium tyres. It's completely up to you if you want to stay on the hards. For me, I did find the tyre wear to be a little bit more with this GT1 car, so I went on the mediums, and we're just going to fill it. It's up to you. You can either fill it to the dot. Personally, I filled it all the way because I know this thing drinks a lot more fuel than it originally says it's going to. And I just wanted to kind of ensure I'm going to get to the end no problems at all. Again, this is our second and last stop. You won't need to do anything. So we've basically done a sprint run, a long hard tyre run, and then we're doing a sprint again to the finish. So bump your fuel mix back up to 1, and as you can see, they're coming powering down the straight. And again, that's what I mean, they just won't act like you're there, so just be very aware that they don't just pile into the back of you. And then after sprinting, you're just going to, you know, come across the finish line and no problems at all. You know, just, you know, make way, fly over, and that is going to be the end of your race. So actually a really, really fun, you know, money making method. I'd 100% recommend this car. Like I said, I wasn't even aware. I kind of thought this was the GT3 car. It was only till like I double took and realised, no, that is a GT1 car. So something a little bit different, and obviously we've got that awesome livery on it. So we're going to see 26 minutes 20 seconds .1 with a fastest lap of 1:37.5. So the 1 lap pace is definitely there in this car, and I feel like you could go faster the more you get used to it. So not a bad time, really. Obviously, especially for a 2-stop strategy, I'm not complaining there at all. And we're going to get the 727,500 credits in around about 25-26 minutes. So again, another big thank you to Raymond Cromoton for this method. It honestly is some of the most fun I've had grinding money in Gran Turismo since probably the F1500. I did really enjoy that method, and that's what this series is about, mixing it up and finding strategies that are just fun as well as, you know, earning you that easy money. So 100% spot on with this method. Thank you very much to yourself. And again, just a little note about Gran Turismo 7. So obviously I've been playing it since it came out. I release daily videos on it, but I am going to try and mix it up with some other games, maybe, you know, a bit of the Crew 2, a bit of F1 22, maybe a bit of Assetto Corsa even. Just to kind of mix up my content. But don't worry, Gran Turismo 7 is here to stay for the long run. It's what you guys kind of know me for, and that is what I'm going to keep doing. But obviously I kind of do want to stretch my legs and go into other things as well. So that's going to be the end of this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you later, guys.